My first child, Ronnie, was born on July 13th, 2012. I can't believe that little baby is now 8 years old and speaks 5 languages fluently. I am so proud. Now, of the 5 languages that we are raising our children in, I think Mandarin was and continues to be the one that requires the most attention from us. So today's video is going to be about the challenges that we faced and how we overcame them introducing and maintaining Mandarin, which is a very hard minority language. And hopefully you will pick up some inspirations for your multilingual parenting strategies, regardless of your target language. Welcome to AskTetsu, where we unlock the world's opportunities for our children by teaching them languages. My name is Tetsu. I have been raised in many languages, and today I am raising my own 4 kids in 5 languages. And if you're new here, I urge you to subscribe and follow the language development journey of our children. To set the scene for today's story, I will first quickly mention, for the benefit of our new viewers, that OPO, or one person, one language, is our strategy of choice in raising our children in 5 languages. Now, in this context, I have been in charge of speaking to the kids in Mandarin exclusively from the very beginning. And by that I mean even when they were in my wife Yuko's tummy. Now, my wife is Japanese, so naturally she speaks Japanese to the kids. And I'll tell you about the 3 other languages as the story unfolds. Now, that said, at the beginning I was certainly not as confident as I am today in raising my kids in different languages. Now, I say today OPO is my strategy of choice, but when Ronnie was born, I didn't even know that term. So, but I do remember clearly how I was raised myself by my own parents in Taiwan, speaking Mandarin to my father, Japanese to my mother, Hakka with my grandparents, Taiwanese with my nanny and friends in the streets. And I was sent to an American school, so I had English at school. So, without really knowing, OPO was really the strategy that my parents had opted for. From the time Ronnie was born to about 18 months, we were living in Japan. So naturally, even with my Mandarin input, his Japanese actually developed quicker than his Mandarin. So in order to strengthen his Mandarin, which we knew from the get-go that it would probably be the most resource-intensive language, we decided to move to Taiwan. That is, I decided to go live in Taiwan with Ronnie, while Yuko stayed behind with our second child, Nico, who was just born in those days. And Yuko was still in the university, so she had to stay behind. As we moved to Taiwan, we also thought it would be a great timing to introduce English simultaneously. Again, referring back to how I was raised. So we put Ronnie into an English-speaking daycare while he absorbed Mandarin from his living context with friends and my Taiwanese relatives. And also, since Taiwan was just a short flight away from Japan, Yuko and Nika would visit frequently over certain weekends and holidays. And also, my mother, who's Japanese, came to live with us over several months at a time. And so Ronnie, even though we were living in Taiwan, got an ample exposure to Japanese. In retrospect, living in Taiwan turned out to be an excellent strategy as Ronnie's Mandarin and English quickly improved to catch up with his Japanese.
蓝色
蓝色
Yeah. Black.
black
哪个 Black
orange
Black Where's Black
black
哦，然后呢这个是
orange
Orange 哇哦，那这个呢
green
Green 啊Green 是中文跟芭比讲什么颜色？
绿色
绿色哦，那跟妈咪讲是什么颜色？
哦
咦
緑
緑哇
And by the time we left Taiwan, about a year and a half later, all 3 of his languages were at par, and I would consider excellent for even at the age standardized levels.
これ何時？
虹
これ何時？
9時
Wow. What time is this?
4 o'clock
What time is this?
1 o'clock
这个几点？
7点
哇，这个几点？
3 点
好棒哦！
Ronnie had just turned 3 in July 2015 when we all moved to Quebec. Or I should say, actually moved back to Quebec in my case, since I had spent my teenage years and my 20s right here in Quebec. So the community language here, French, was automatically added as the kids' fourth language.
Luis hero. We.
And at the same time, we also decided to add a fifth language, Spanish, by bringing on au pairs from Mexico. Au pairs are actually kind of like live-in nannies, for those of you who are not familiar.
1,
何言ったの？
2,
なんだっけ？ジャシューと
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
And that completes the list of 5 languages that we are teaching our children. With that, now Mandarin has more competition than before for our children's attention, making a balanced diet of all 5 languages a challenging juggling act. So as I am the guy who is responsible for the Mandarin input, it's actually put a lot of strain on me, because in those days I was working 60, 70-hour weeks, and I had a lot of business trips around the world, so I wasn't present all the time. So our next strategy to increase the exposure of Mandarin, and at the same time Japanese, was to go back to Asia every year. Since we moved back to Canada in 2015, we have been spending about 2 months each in Japan and Taiwan every spring and summer, where the kids go to local schools, summer camps, and daycares. And as you can imagine, this strategy has been quite challenging to manage as a family with work and school, etc. But it has really produced some tremendous results so far. However, this year, 2020, although the kids were able to get to Japan with Yuko, COVID-19 has completely derailed our plans to go to Taiwan for July and August. To make matters even worse, now I was supposed to go join them in June and pick up the kids and go to Taiwan, but here I am still stuck back in Canada, so I am unable to provide meaningful input in Mandarin to the kids, other than the occasional Facebook messengers that we do every once in a while. And just as expected, we quickly saw our third child, Akila's Mandarin deteriorate within a few weeks of arriving in Japan. So to salvage the situation, the first thing that Yuko did was to try to significantly increase the input through cartoons in Mandarin. That was our first strategy.
是你的村子里从来没着过火，所以你就跟我一起听音乐玩吧。
不行。
Then we also, once Japan had lifted their lockdown, we quickly found a Mandarin-speaking nanny in Nagasaki. So she would come every other day, or actually about, I would say 5-6 days a week to speak to the kids in Mandarin. So that really helped a lot too.
冰库线，
壁骨线，
对，好厉害！
下手
你
线
看1、2、3的3，三重线。
是
And then we had a third strategy, which, honestly speaking, I had pretty low expectations for it. And that was to ask Ronnie to teach his siblings Mandarin by speaking to them on a daily basis. I really didn't think that would work. They're immersed fully in Japanese, and they're just kids. So my expectations were not high. But surprisingly, Ronnie actually took up the challenge quite seriously. And I think it's because I explained to him, how important his role was as a big brother to care for his younger siblings. And I also told him how much it meant to Daddy and Mommy. Because it's true. He was a tremendous help.
说1、2、3、4、5、6、7、27、28、29、30。
And just like that, not only did I not have to worry about Ronnie's Mandarin deteriorating, he actually helped Akila's Mandarin recover substantially, So thanks to his contribution, my work to restore our kids' Mandarin when they come back next month will likely be much easier now. So today, Ronnie turns 8. His development not only in languages but as a mature young boy has really blown past our highest expectations. Thank you, Ronnie, and happy birthday! 生日快乐！爸爸爱你哦！ If you like videos like this one where I talk about various strategies we employ to raise our kids in different languages, please check out that playlist over there in that lower corner. And if you want to see some videos of our children speaking in different languages, please check out the playlist right below. Otherwise, if you haven't done so yet, please click on the big icon below to subscribe and follow our kids' language development. I'll see you next time.